Today we are going to go through your project of the radial name design using a color scheme throughout your whole project. In order to complete this, you need to decide which way you want to create your radial name design. If you want your radial name design to be whimsical, yours may look something like the one pictured on the screen. If you want yours to be more structured, it may look something like this one. I'm going to walk you through how to create each of these designs. Also, before you start doing any planning, you have to decide whether or not you want to repeat your name multiple times or if you want to write words that describe you. For example, if you look at the one on the screen, you will see that I wrote my name 4 different times in the boxes. I chose to use that showed my name. For example, the font down here is a more boxy font. This one has more curves to it. This one was kind of one that I was playing around and it reminds me of a very wavy ghosty line. And then this one I merged all my letters together. If you notice for this project, you will have your name in every other section. My name, then a design, my name again, then a design, my name again, then a design, my name again, and then a design. You need to section your paper into at least 8 different sections. You could have up to 10 sections. Please make sure it is an even number, because if you have an odd number, you will have 2 boxes that are the same thing, whether it is your name or a design. You need to make sure it's even so that your name will go in every other one and your design in the other ones. If you chose to do words that describe you, you can do one like this one. I chose to put my name down here, and then I had all of the words that describe me coming out of the middle. So Rachel, I really like adventure, I like traveling, so I put adventure here. I'm loving, because part of being a teacher is loving all of your students and loving your family. And then artistic, because I love teaching art and I love to create art. As you can tell, I am not finished with this design yet. I just started doing some of my designs in the blank ones. So this is probably step 2 of your project. Alright, to begin, you need to plan out first if you're going to do your name or if you're going to do words. Then you need to choose your colors. Just a reminder, here are some examples of different color schemes you can use. Choose one color scheme to use throughout your whole project. So you could have the theme of warm colors, and you can use warm colors throughout your whole project. Maybe you want to do warm versus cool color. In this case, I will let you choose both color schemes, but you need to make sure that you use the warm colors for your name and the cool colors for your design, or vice versa. Monochromatic is one color using tints and shades. Tertiary are the ones that are mixed, so orange and yellow mixed to make orange yellow or yellow orange. Blue and purple make blue purple. Yellow and green make yellow green. You could do primary, secondary colors, complementary, or analogous. Analogous is 3 colors next to each other on the color wheel. So first, decide if you're going to use your name or descriptive words throughout the piece. Next, choose your color scheme. When you're ready to plan out, you should open your sketchbook and create your plan. You need to divide your page in half both ways to find the center middle point. So if I use a ruler and I divide my paper in half, I will notice that my paper is just under 12 inches long or 30 centimeters long. I'm going to divide that number in half to find half of my length. So if I divide 30 in half, I will get 15. This is right before 30, so I'm going to go right before the 15 and mark my page. So I know half of my paper, the lengthwise, is right there. Now I need to go up and down and figure out where half of it is here. I will notice that my paper is 21 centimeters long. So I will divide 21 divided by 2, which is 10 and a half. So if I look here, here is 10 and a half. So this is my center point. I lined it up with this point here, and then I found my other one. So here is where the two dots would cross. If I were to draw lines across, here would be where the two lines cross. I'm going to show you how to do this design first, where the lines are straight across the page and not curved. In order to do this design, I need to draw a line across the middle of my page. I'm doing this in pen, but you should do this in pencil. I'm doing it in pen so that my lines show up and you can see them on the video. There is my center of my page, exactly divided in half. I'm going to take a circle protractor and mark off where my lines need to be so that my angles are exactly the same. I know that my line is 180 degrees. So this section is 180 degrees. I want to divide it into 4 sections. So if I do 180 divided by 4, because I want 4 sections up here and 4 sections down here to get a total of 8 sections. If I divide 180 divided by 4, I get 45 degrees. So I'm going to look for 45 degrees on here. Here's 40. 45 is directly in the middle here. My point needs to be where I marked my middle point on my paper. I need to put my circle compass, the middle of it, on that point. I also need to make sure that my middle line runs through 0 and 180. If you don't measure it up correctly, you're going to get the wrong angle measurements. So I mark 45. I know that 45 plus 45 is 90. 90 plus 45 is 135. And then 135 plus 45 is 180. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of my paper, so I'm going to turn my paper around, line it up again, and I'm going to mark 45 again. I'm going to mark 90, and then I'm going to mark 135. Now I have all these marks on my page. I'm going to take my ruler and connect my dots. So each of my lines need to run through the center point. You will see that there's a dot here and a dot over here. I am going to draw a line straight across. That is my first line. I have my first 2 sections. Now I'm going to divide it up and down, running through the center point again. And now I'm going to divide it across the page, running through my center point again, making sure everything is lined up. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different sections on my page. These all have the exact same angle because I measured it with my protractor. So I should have the exact same angle throughout my work. You can choose now to place your words, either your name or the words that describe you, going from the center outward or outward inward. Make sure whatever you choose that it's consistent throughout. For example, my name starts here and ends here in each of my sections. So starts on the edge, and the last part of my name goes to the middle. If you look, I can read it every direction all the way around my page. I'm going to show you how to do one box. So I'm going to start in this section, and I am going to write my name. You can choose to write it however you want. Here's my letters. Make sure you plan this. This should be done in pencil because if you try to do it in pen, you might mess up and then your whole art project is ruined. Think of your spacing as you go along. I might cut it a little close with my E and my L. And L. If you notice, I used the whole section to write my name. My letters started big, and I continued to start and draw to the top of the line, and then I drew to the bottom of the line. It will look a little funny if you try to draw like this. You're missing so much space right here and right here. So fill in the whole area as you draw. This doesn't look so good because then I'm missing all of the other areas. There's a lot of empty space. So you don't want all of this empty space. You want it down here. Then you can come up with any design. I have some papers that I will pass out to you that have Zen Tangle on them. They look a little something like this. I'm sorry, I had to get up and grab them. They look something like this. So here are some patterns and designs that you might want to include. I have a lot and see the different designs. I will make sure that they are ready for you guys and that you can look at these. Also, if you're unsure how to do bubble letters, I have some helpful hints or some sheets that will help you. Here's one example of how you do your bubble letters, and here's another example. This one breaks it down for you a little bit more. So if you're unsure how to do these, please look at these sheets also. If you're planning the more whimsical approach to this project, you're going to start the same way as you started before. You're going to find your midpoint. So if I measure again, I'm going to measure just before 15. And then I'm going to measure this way, and it's 10.5. So my lines will cross here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at one corner of my page, and I'm going to work my way to the other. I want this corner and then to arc the other way. So I'm going to draw my arc from this corner, running through the center point and arcing that way. If you can create the same arc both ways, it looks the best. As you can notice, my arcs are different. It's probably not going to look so good. So I divided it in half that way. Now I'm going to divide it in half the other way. I want to make sure my lines are creating the same movement throughout the page. So this one's going to go this way. And this one's going to go this way. So my lines are going this way and they're kind of flowing with each other. Then I'm going to divide it this way. Oh, Miss Rachel messed up. This way. And then this way. This way. Ignore this one. I messed up a little bit. This way. And then this way. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sections this time instead of 8. You can divide it a different way and get 8 if you prefer. Just make sure that you put 4 if you were to divide it along this line, so you have half on one side and half on the other. Make sure there's 4 here and 4 down here. So you would do the same thing, so you would fill your name in here and then designs on the other one. So if I go back here and I look at my example, if you choose to use marker, you can. My markers, if you choose to use these markers are running a little bit low. They're not as good of markers. There's a lot of colors to choose from, but the ink is running low. As you notice here, you can see kind of that it's running out, and that really ruins my art project. So make sure that if you use markers, that they're good markers and it's going to fill it in. You can also choose to use colored pencil. There is more of a variety of colored pencil colors, so if you use the colored pencils, that will probably be best for you. I will make sure I go through that part with you when I am back from my trip. I chose for this example to use cool colors. I am going to put all my cool colors in each of my decorative areas. So I'm going to use all the cool colors in the decorated areas. And then I want to do each cool color in my names. So this is going to be blue. All my blues are going to be used in this one. This one's going to be all my purples. This one's going to be all my greens. And then I have to decide what I want to do here because I realize that I have 3 cool colors only, so I'll have to do some sort of decorative design in this one using a range of different cool colors. But make sure you plan it out before you begin your final piece so you know exactly where you want to use your colors. I hope this helps you, this video helps you. Feel free to watch it again if you are unsure how to do a step, or email me and I will make sure that I answer your response.